Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fins Faithful podcast. Thanks for joining us this Monday evening. I hope everybody had a great weekend, safe weekend. We're back here as always. We're live with you guys on YouTube. So I know I keep repeating this, but guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that bell to subscribe to the channel. Help support us. Curtis, I know it's shaking his head.
I gotta download that into my head, man. I had a viewer say, "Dude, you suck at promoting yourself." Like my own guys are saying, I suck at it.
Yeah,
you're awesome.
Well, no, it really helps. People don't, I understand watching shows. Sometimes they don't understand how much that really helps, and it helps the algorithm. And also, I love the comments under the video. That's my favorite thing is the video, the chat, and then the video comments. So guys, make sure you come over to YouTube, check us out. Come spend some time with us tonight. Well, we're going to dive into this Miami Dolphins offense. We got training camps. I think the rookies report tomorrow. It's crazy. The vets, I think, next week. And then I think the 26th is the first public practice, so it's right around the corner. We got some things planned for you for that. But tonight we're going to dive into the offense here because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the offense. And, they had that big 23 year. Then they had the 24 down year, and it wasn't just injuries. I think there's an identity crisis. Style, coaching. They added some players. Yes, they added some players. What the coaching staff has to do, what some of these players have to do, and and no better people to talk about this than us. Always my co-host and co-pilot, Mr. Jason Sarney,
the man.
And then we have a guy who I think we're going to be talking a lot of O-line tonight, so I wanted to bring you on. I know you love talking everything.
I'm like known for it now.
Yeah. I think a lot of what we have to talk about, what we're going to have to talk about here is going to have to do with the offensive line. But Curtis, you guys know him on YouTube as Ace Per Head. He has great stuff. He's been on the show. He's a friend of the program. Now he's part of the program in the Fins Faithful family. Curtis, Jason, how you fellas doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Hope everyone's doing well out there. The eve of rookie reporting. And I'm glad that we have Curtis here because Curtis does such a good job of breaking things down from the analytical, the X's and O's. Give yourself more credit, my man. You really put things in a very easy, readable way, whether it's in text on Twitter or obviously verbally on your channel. So I'm glad to have you here. And thank you for everyone joining us.
100%, brothers.
100%. We got some heavy hitters
for life, man, and a dive bar, man.
Heavy hitters showing the Fins tailgates in the house. Shout out to those boys, the dive bar. Shout out to those boys. You know them. Cap for life. Sammy. Good start to the show here. Hopefully it continues. You guys come on over with us here on YouTube. Hang out with us tonight. Should be fun.
Yep.
Dude, I think I'm just going to take a video of you saying all the right stuff for my channel.
Am I that good at it? I guess.
You could rent him out for the actual publicizing of all of our channels and work. He does a great job about that.
I appreciate these kind words. And Jarvis, check this guy out.
Jarvis.
Just met him, man.
To get a spot in the league. Check him out. I promise, Jarvis, we're going to have him on one night, and he can kind of be a co-host with us, Jarvis. I'll get back to you that, but check him out. Check it. Drop your Twitter handle in here, Jarvis. This guy's the real deal. He works his butt off, and we support him.
That's the one thing I liked. When I went to his page, man, it was all about faith, all about family, all about commitment. That's like football, dude. That's like the heart of football, man. I'm rooting for you.
You gave me an
I can't wait to watch your film.
What was that, Jason?
Did I say something wrong?
One of my favorite things. Boom.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
And you can throw faith in there, too.
Yep. We can start off with this question here before we get into Cap said, I was told yesterday 30 out of the 32 second-round picks are not signed.
Yep.
What can someone fact check from these?
Go
ahead. It's what happened with Jaden Higgins and
no, there's three. There's three signed. There's two for there's two for the Browns that are signed, and then like the second pick in the second round draft. The running back didn't get a guaranteed contract, but he was busted for like aggravated assault, domestic abuse. So that's why he didn't get it. But I think that the agents and all these players are putting their foot in the ground to get guaranteed money. And the Chargers wide receiver is holding out because he wants an unprecedented contract. I don't know if it means total value or the fact that he's getting guaranteed. So I think this is a major issue.
Yeah,
I think it's a huge story.
It's the guarantee. Everything changed with that contract with Jaden Higgins. the fully guaranteed contract. Jason, you want to go and jump in on that?
No, I'm saying it's a league-wide issue. And look, for a guy like a Jaden Higgins, I'm telling you right now, I know this is a Dolphin show. This dude's the real deal. Like,
I know you love him.
If you're a fantasy player, make sure you don't not draft him. You could draft him early. You could literally draft him 2 or 3 rounds early. He is a carbon copy of Nico Collins, and now he's playing with Nico Collins. It's too perfect. So I think this guy is going to actually prove worth it. So it's going to probably put a little wrench in a lot of these guaranteed money negotiations because I think he's going to prove worth it. Like I just said, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jaden Higgins, but he screwed everything up with that contract, man. It'll get done.
But was he the first one to get? I thought it was the linebacker.
Yeah, Carson Schlesinger. That was my guy. Schlesinger. Yeah, and they gave it kind of now all the other the agents are holding out. I don't know. We have a question. You think Jonah's going to hold out tomorrow? I don't know if can they sign a waiver until or not in.
I don't think he will.
OT. Yeah, he won't. I think
because I think this all these second round picks, they and their agents have something going on. It seems like it's
league wide. Yeah, it's not just the Dolphins.
Right.
I'm hoping it gets done by when everybody reports. I want him in as soon as possible. He needs to be. He's a starter. He's a rookie. We're going to talk about him specifically tonight. But as long as he's in, I think by this weekend, I'll be okay with it. Hopefully this stuff gets wrapped up.
I'm going to make a predictive call here, whether it's tomorrow morning or a week from tomorrow. We're going to see Jonah in that office signing like one of those early AM start of the day. This is just pure speculation, but why the Dolphins need to do that is because the backup or there is no contingency plan.
Whoa. I won't have Eichenberg slander like that.
Well, I'm going to give it to you. Because I can't. I've been saying that the offensive line could be very improved with the first 5, and that includes free agent James Daniels and, of course, Jonas Savaiinea. But if they are starting the season for whatever reason with someone else, whether it's Liam or another, they have no depth. There is literally from 6 to however many they carry on their initial 53, hole. So they need to sign him. They need to have a lot of urgency to sign him.
Yeah, I think he makes some who in the chat said, Cap, somebody has to set the market. It's going to start with somebody signing in that somewhere in that 30s. We'll set the market for somebody. I think we'll see this week it accelerate. Things don't get done till the deadlines, and there's deadlines now. Camp starting, so I would love him to be there tomorrow, but I think if he gets in the next couple of days, everything will be fine, especially when the vets report. I'm a little concerned, but not too much. I think it'll get done. Somebody will set the market, and again, deadlines get things moving, and there's deadlines coming up because camp is starting.
Well, I think because I did a whole podcast and I did some studying on because I really wasn't. I had a lot of viewers saying, "Oh, he's not signed. No big deal." But Human Not Wari from Seattle, he's next up. Then you got the holdout, I think, and then you got Jonah. So I don't know until he gets signed in Seattle that Jonah will get signed. But there's one point we have to think about too, though. The owners, they might start putting their foot in the ground because just think about all the second and third round picks. This could go into the third round next year. Maybe it's not even full guaranteed. It's half guaranteed. So you could have a players versus owners. And I'm sure some would dissent, some of the owners, but you don't know. This could get sticky. Could disappear, but it could get sticky.
Yeah, I think it changed a lot. It's going to be curious, not only this year, how this happens moving forward. Somebody will be the one who breaks the ice. It's just when. Hopefully,
let's hope it's Jonah.
Yeah, let's hope it's somebody's going to be like, look, I got to get in camp. Like, all right, I don't get fully guaranteed, but it's more than I thought I would get guaranteed. Let's get this done, and then everybody else will fall into place. But yeah, concerned, but not too concerned.
No,
shout out to Jake. Shout out to Frozen Fin fan, Sammy. Again, Blake. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Come on over to YouTube, guys. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. I'm teaching Curtis how to promote properly.
Hey, I want to promote. You know what I like? I like to promote other people. Frozen Fin fan is a true. I wanted to do a podcast, but I forgot.
Yeah.
He was out fighting forest fires in Alaska for several weeks. and he couldn't do his podcast. That's a guy, man.
Thank you,
He's
sir.
a stand-up dude. He's a real hero. That's a Dolphin fan. That's not easy, man. It's brutal.
Yeah.
He had a family to take care of. He's a trucker, and he was doing some serious battles, man. He's a great guy, man. You should give him a round of hand. You should subscribe to him.
Subscribe to Frozen
Check
Fin
out his
Fan.
channel.
Great job.
Subscribe.
Thanks for coming through. Appreciate all
Curtis
the work.
dishing out dimes, not promoting his own show. I love it.
Curtis is getting ready for a potential show, maybe, with us. You never know what can happen this upcoming season. Shout out to Jared. What's up, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Finn's Tailgate says Players League incoming. All for the push for the international expansion. He makes a good point. Shout out to the guys at the Finn's Tailgate. Athletes first is always attacking the organization this time of year. Great points, fellas. All right. Hate to hear that, Frozen. Yes. Again, Frozen, unbelievable work. I had no idea. I'm so glad that you shared that with us. And Curtis, go follow Frozen Fins Fan, and thanks for joining us in the chat tonight. We appreciate it, guys.
For sure.
All right, let's get into the offense here. 23 was that big year. I think there's a lot of things to talk about there. They had that big year in 23. I think the peak of the Dolphins offense was that Denver game, but everybody agreed that was the peak. I don't even think it was the full 23 season. I think it was more like 9 or 10 games, and then slowly it started to decline. And then we had last year. And I think last year a lot of people are going to blame the injuries. But let's be honest, fellas, even with the healthy Tua, he helps. I always say Tua's the floor raiser, but it wasn't the same. And I want to read you guys some stats before we get into what they have to do. But this, let's go, for example, the stats of the 20. We all know they were number one in total offense, right? They were number one in passing offense. They were, what were they in, like 6th in rushing offense, 2nd in scoring offense, red zone offense, number 2. 2024, the decline, total offense. They were 21st in total offense. In scoring offense, they went from 2 to 22. Red zone, 2 to 16. Third downs really struggled, 25, and we'll talk about why. That's the running game. They ran the ball effectively in 23. They were 6th in total rushing. They were like 1st in yards per carry, but yards per attempt they were like 19. So that's another thing we're going to talk about. And then 2024, they went from 1st in yards per carry to like 28th. They dropped a full yard in yards per carry. So we'll get into all that and why. First thing we want to talk about, and I think it starts here, I want to start with Curtis here, is the offensive line. I think a lot of what we're going to talk about is going to be surrounded by the offensive line. So I want to get your opinion. I'm sure you've talked about it in this show. Do you believe, like everybody else, this offensive line is improved as much as everybody thinks? Well, basically, you have Armstead out, but I think the interior and specifically the style of players they brought in, I'm not going to give it away. I want your opinion. How do you think this offensive line's improved? And has the style of offensive linemen kind of changed? And do you think it'll help towards the philosophy they need to have? It's your floor, it's Curtis Cook.
Well, it's so hard. You got 2 new guys, one guy who was out most of last year. You got one guy who played a little bit of last year, and he's a rookie. You got a guy coming off Achilles. Obviously, Brewer, you know what he's about. It's really hard to say because every year things can change so much. And when you add all this chemistry, or Savanaya, moving to left side, being a rookie, in talent across the board, they are better. But, you look at people didn't like Robert Jones, but you go look at our run effectiveness. It was always behind Jones and Tehran inside. And then you look at the other interior spot. Obviously, we had Aikenberg. And then it failed. It flopped. And so for me, if you look at the prototypes, obviously pulling Eichenberg out, Daniels is a major upgrade. I don't know yet if Savaianai is going to be the drive blocker of Jones, but he's better than everything else, and he's big. And then you got Paul. He's not going to be able to be Tehran. So when I first, started going over Tehran's induction in 22, I said, this guy is going to be the guy who blocks alone. He can be left alone, don't need a babysitter, and all the help's going to flow. That's not there. Jackson, in my opinion, is below average. I mean, he's okay with us throwing super fast and running outside zone all day. So what is McDaniel going to do? The good news, I think, is Brewer can true pass set block. Savanai is great at true pass set blocking. Daniels is pretty good, but, the Achilles. So I think you're going to see a different blocking look because with the way Tua gets the ball out, if you could just keep that middle open and they can just ride guys, not get blown up. Of course, Jackson goes on skates once in a while. You could get a lot more production. But we also have to see it tested against these defenses as they go over this chemistry of this offensive line and what we can do. But, of course, we're upgraded in talent, but Tehran really hurts. Jackson's coming off an injury, just got another injury. He's not good to me, even when he isn't injured. And when does Daniels get in there? When does Savanai get in there? I think there's loads of potential, but I reset my evaluation. I got to start seeing from the camp on. So I do think there's potential, but there's a lot of stuff to shake out to see what's going on. And God forbid we get one injury. So in a way, yes. Although Tehran in our pass game, just leaving him on his own and making the help ball go down to the right, that was something nice. So that's my 2 cents.
Jason, jump in it.
Yeah, you're going to hear this a lot from me this leading into the regular season. There's a lot of ifs and potentials. You said the word potential. So I hate saying if this happens, if that happens. I'm not going to deal hopium. I'm going to deal realium.
Ooh.
Realium, folks.
A new word here.
I like that. I'm going to add that in.
But again, you need to sign Savanai because if James Daniels starts missing 2 or 3 games and he's holding out the rookie, now you're looking at the same problem of last year, having a great left tackle, a hole, a very good center, a hole, and then a guy who you hope just continues to have a good career after a great year in Austin Jackson, and then he got hurt. So here's the first if James Daniels could start week 1, if Savanai is signed, here's what you have. You have the loss of a Hall of Famer in Teron Armstead, but a potential plug-in where you're not going to get downgraded that bad. Not a hole, a very good Brewer, not a hole, and Austin Jackson. So you're getting better across the board, but obviously anyone with any football sense can know you lose a Hall of Famer on the left side, left tackle in Teron, it's not going to scream spiking the overall room, but there's a chance that 1 through 5, especially left guard through right tackle, could be solidified and solid. And we'll get into it a little bit where you would see Jonah, where you would see Daniels left, right, whatever. But if there is health and a signed rookie, 1 through 5 is better than last year. I'll stick to that.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm like I gave my opinion on. I think they'll be better because of the interior. Everybody knows I love the Savanai pick, and I think James Daniels is an Achilles is not a joke, right? Like again, if he's not ready to go, who's the option? Is it Larry Bloom? Is it Liam Eichenberg? And then
Eichenberg to the rescue.
I know we're gonna lose a lot of viewers with Eichenberg, but I think more than anything, we're gonna talk about this in somebody. I think Cap brought it up about what style offensive line are. I like this style of player they brought in. I want to go back to the 23 season. On paper, it looked like it was a good running game. I gave you the numbers at the top of the show. I can't even remember. What was it? Number 1 in yards per carry, top 6 or 7 in rushing offense. But it was kind of just style over substance. And when you needed a running game, it didn't work. And part of the reason you got it is because the league, you just dropped with no prior film, Mike McDaniel, this Waddle Hill offense. And they were doing the opposite they're doing now. They were just playing normal defense and, 7-8 man boxes, and we were killing them. It was man coverage, and we were just killing them and with the run game because they were so scared of those guys. But it wasn't it didn't translate to winning. Again, between the 20s, 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, wasn't working. I think the stylistic approach of the running game is most important. Last year, again, the same problem. They went from they actually improved from 19 to 17th in rushing yards attempts per game. That they got to be in the top 10. Let me read you the teams, okay, that were how many in rushing yard attempts per game. Who were the top teams last year? Philly, Baltimore, Washington, Detroit, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Those are the top 7. You sense a theme there.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Yeah, your final four.
You not only got to be effective with running the football, but you have to have a certain type of physical style of running the football, and you have to do it a lot. And I think that's the key for me this season. I think they got to move off, guys, not totally out of the outside zone, but like a lot of this offense is predictable. They got to run some diversity in their offensive play schemes, more inside zone schemes, gap schemes. Jalen Wright, if you watch the film, is better inside than he was in the outside zone. That might be breaking news to people, but he was better at it. Because in college, he wasn't great at it like everybody thinks. And if you watch film on Jalen Wright, his outside zone decisiveness and intelligence and IQ weren't great last year. He was much more comfortable running in the inside. You added 2 big physical guards. You added a big back. I don't care what happens to the running game. They got to stick with it. Do it more physical, more of a power-based inside scheme. They got to have a philosophy change in the running game. And to me, that's the biggest thing of anything. Because guess what happens there, guys? You do that, opens up for the boys where all your money is on the outside. Your little toys are, okay? And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it'll open up for them. And it's better in December. It's better in January. If you do that, you could have less talent on the field, but be more successful in December and January. And actually, maybe you're kind of teetering on the playoffs, but if you develop that during the season, all of a sudden it pops. That's when you see these teams make surprising runs at the end. It's because of the running game and the physicality they play with. They wore teams down throughout the season. They got to do that. They have to do that, or it's not going to work. Because, and I'll let you guys jump on this in a minute. Do you guys think, I'll get to McDaniel, but do you guys think that there needs to be an overall, not just a running game change, but a commitment and a style? We'll start with you, Jason.
Absolutely. I love what you've been preaching, George, not deviating from the outside and the finesse and the speed, but you got to add the inside, the power.
You need a slider.
100%.
They caught up with the fastball.
We
they
love
need a
going,
slider.
We love going cross sport.
Yeah, we do.
The team drafted multiple players cross sport, so we can.
Great draft by the Miami Marlins this week, too.
Oh, there you go. But really, we're going to know very, very soon, and we'll get to the tendencies of Mike McDaniel. But if it's 3rd and inches, if it's 4th and short, what type of play are they running? McDaniel, I think, had a tell. He was scared to throw the fastball. He was scared to go up the middle.
Yeah.
So he would deviate with these fun, speed-based plays. But when you need 3 feet, I don't want someone going 2 yards backwards. No. I don't want someone going lateral than to go the necessary yards.
Let's not throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. How about that?
Correct. So if, again, that's going to be, sound the alarm every time I say if. If people are healthy and if that 1 through 5 is solid and that first conversion of a 3rd and inches and 4th and short, maybe even 4th and goal on the goal line, and everyone and their mother knows, all right, they're going to run it up the A gap, but they still do it and convert, that's when we're going to have an idea is if this power component could work. If we're not seeing even a play call to give it a chance, that's the coach giving a tell. He can't bluff. He won't be able to do it because he's running these outside plays that are nice when they work. But sometimes in football, you need to just run a couple of feet forward, have a couple of guys that could push the pile, and you got a Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon. Shoot, Alec Ingold. Give him a lead run. Give him a run right up the middle for a couple of feet. Until we see that consistently, we're at the same old stuff.
Curtis.
Well, there's a lot of variables to this.
Yes.
Are we running 11 personnel? It looks like we're going heavy into 11 personnel. If you go into 11 personnel, you take one big guy off. You've got 3 wide receivers, there's more onus on the tight end. There's less meat in front. And then there's just another factor of you get to the line of scrimmage and you can't even audible. And that stiffness, you have to remember that the DCs, and that's how I study offenses. Like, I'll look at my offense, but I want to see from week to week, what's the DCs doing? Because they know more than me. And whatever book they put forward, if like they have one book and then the next week they change that book, I'm not saying like totally different personnel, like you got Flores and Fangio or something. But when you see the same book over and over again, these guys were way smarter than me. They're telling you something. And you're going to bring out 11 personnel. Barrow Brown's a pretty good blocker. He's not as good as people think. He's pretty good. He's big, but he's not like devastating blocker. So are we going to come out in a 12 personnel or 21? Is it going to be Ingold and Farrell Brown? What are we going to do to enhance this? But it's got to have some pliability when you get to the line of scrimmage, or you're going to be stiff. And offense has to be flexible. If you study history, the offense, the tackers, an army that is flexible and is able to move and adjust, they always have the advantage to most of the time to a stiff opposition. And so all this last year and then the year before, you see the same look. They vacate A and B gap. We couldn't move anybody, but we did have Eichenberg. He's not here. But sometimes Brewer would melt down. Sometimes Jackson would melt down. But, even if you want to run this outside zone, the cutback can still get it done. There's a problem, though, that if you watch right, he's got enough speed to get to the edge, and he runs pretty well, but he doesn't have that sharp angle, 90-degree cutback. So you can attack the whole, like there's a famous John Gruden thing. He had a bunch of Hall of Famers up there, and he's like, whose block is it on outside zone? They're like, everybody's. And that's the stretching it and being able to nimbly cut back. And so he kind of has a little bit, like he can go like one gap back.
He's not good at it. He's not.
No.
And people have a misconception of that he's an outside zone back.
No, I said that when I first drafted him.
Yeah.
He's a draw guy, A and B gap with a little C.
And look at his best runs. A lot of his best game. What was his best game versus New England?
New England.
Yeah.
New England. Great game.
Man, great. I mean, look, he took over for Devon Achane, goes out with a concussion, and he has 13 carries, and he's averaging 6.6 yards per carry.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of Brewer comments. Yeah, Brewer is obviously he's undersized, but he's a heck of he's tough as hell, and he can move. And yes, the outside zone, but you can do some inside zone stuff with Aaron Brewer. I truly believe that. And the guards are going to be better. They're not just different players; they're athletic, physical, and big. They're thick. That's the kind of style change that they have to have. They have to have it. It doesn't work if those guys are Liam Eichenberg and Robert Jones. I don't care who's back there. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. It has to start with those two guys they added in Daniels and Jonas Savianaya. I think Savianaya is the most important rookie on this roster.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Mike McDaniel here, and we could jump over what's Mike's role in this, right? Because, I think part of the problem with Mike, I always make the joke he was brought here to be the head coach of Tua, but I also think he was overly trying to prove a point how good Tua was those first few years. I think that's got to be over with now because I'm going to be honest, Tua.
He was hailed as a genius for doing it, so he loved it. I'm a genius. They're calling me a genius.
It's over. The league, these guys get paid on the other side. They have film on you now. And they figured it out. Now, are you smart enough to draw up another concept and another style and change it up where Tua will actually be better? You know what he had in Alabama? Play action, power running game, Najee Harris. That's where he's his best. His best is not Tyreek Hill 2,000 yards. That's another thing. If Tyreek Hill gets close to 2,000 yards, I bet you this team's bouncing the first round of the playoffs.
No boy.
That means they're not running the ball successfully. They became that speed and finesse team. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's fun. It was fun, but it's style over substance. What did it really mean? I always say, what did it translate in? Brian Flores could have got the same amount of wins with less talent doing his way. What in the end did it translate to? Nothing. Not a playoff win. Nothing. So now, if he's got to learn that, yes, you prove your point, you got back to where everybody thought he would be. He's great. He's one of the top 10, 15 quarterbacks in the league. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. He's probably in 10 or 12, 8 to 12, wherever you like to suit him in that range. You prove the point. Now, do what is best Tua with his ability to anticipate throws and spot throw. I know you know about this, Curtis, and you can kind of explain. Like I know somebody explained to you this, and I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, Darius, D1 corner.
His ability to anticipate ahead where the receiver is going to be and put it on a dot and a keyhole off play action would be dangerous. Okay,
well, that's my take with a tight end. I would have totally built this thing differently.
And you said 11 personnel. Like, is there going to be times we run, the 2 tight ends? The 12 with or
who's the other tight end?
Okay, here it is. Darren Waller. Darren Waller, but in the slot.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
in the slot, and then Julian Hill on the line, and you can still run because as your slot, Darren Waller is big and physical enough to block, so you can do some when you want to do some outside zone stuff, and you can. It's not like, okay, I know they're running or I know they're passing. They can do either one because even though Darren Waller's on a great blocking tight end as a big slot receiver, he's going to take up space at least. But yeah. I'll start with you, Curtis. Talk about the offense, kind of, that whole thing that you were explaining, and also what's Mike McDaniel's role here on what he has to do to kind of himself to make sure this offense kind of goes back, not necessarily to the 23 style, but the success.
Well, that's the thing is just a little bit on a 23 success. I remember doing a podcast after the Broncos game. I'm like, this is great, but guys, look at this. Look at this. People like, I lost subs. People are like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You're just a hater. And I said, did you see those cracks on those linebackers, how they were playing us? I mean, that's like crazy. Vance Joseph was totally out of his mind in that game. And so if you look at our 6 rush total in the league, we stacked up like 30% in 3 games. And they were against kind of like lesser teams. And then if you look, I think it was like 60 or 65% of the yards came on first down. And once Achane flipped it. Like, so people like, I'm prepared for Waddle and Hill. But then Achane kind of blew the script up. But then people said, oh, okay, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? And they just kept vacating the A and B gap and ambushing the edges, the middle, closed middle and top. And so, but McDaniel, remember, he was a run game coordinator. They bring him in, they give him a half a good line. They ask him to be OC, HC, and win now. And he kind of just had to like learn on the go and just do what he could. And when you look at this system, and Odaris really set me straight on it, we don't have a progression system, a strict progression system. Like, all right, on this play, it's going to be here, and you can adjust it. But you know what I'm saying? The play comes out, that. It's not like that. Basically, what it does is takes a lot of the weight off McDaniel because that's why the verbiage has got to be so big because he encodes all the options into the verbiage. Gives it to Tua, who's got to disseminate to the receivers who have to know all the adjustments based on whatever coverage they're seeing and being on the same page. And so they read the coverage, and based on the coverage reads, that's where the progressions happen. And so then the receivers and the quarterback have to be on the same page. But people will say, oh, it's because Tua is dumb as a box of rocks and he can't throw deep. Whatever, I'm not going to debate that. But what that says is that McDaniel doesn't have to be as tactical. When you have a more progression base, you have to call up the right play and you have to outguess the guy. He's just taking a strategic package, building up a massive verbiage, sending it into the players and letting them do all the work inside. And that's why it takes so long to get there. And so really, you go back to what the heart of this offense is. It's smoke and mirrors. We had I think it was 2022, maybe we had some crazy extra blockers. We had, I think, pass rush mitigation, which is screens and play actions, like 50-something%. Every time you run a play action, you're pulling receivers out of the secondary. That's why you always see it's like 2 guys in coverage, and then 2 is looking around and say, so. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I just jump in? Yeah, I just want to jump in.
Yeah. I was on a rant. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Keep going. I love it. I was going to say, with Tua, sometimes, people say he doesn't read defense as well, or some people think, oh, look, he's doing this. He's looking to his third option. A lot of the time in this offense, Tua's looking off somebody, but he already knows where he's going. He
knows, based on the coverage.
And he takes that one spot, knows where that safety is good. Where's that safety going? Is he moving up? Is he going back? Where is he going? Is he coming underneath? And he knows, and that's what Tua's great at, and he doesn't get enough credit. That's how he processes. It's not like he's scanning the whole field. He knows. I look here, boom, he's moving. I'm going here. That's why they practice so much. This is I always say it's like a play. Their practice time is more important than any other team. That's why the backup quarterbacks don't do well, because he takes up all the snaps, because you have to rehearse. It's a rhythm, right? So when he looks off one guy, it's almost like it's an easy read for him, because he already knows where he's going. And that's why you see these occasionally you get these crazy interceptions, right? Yeah. You're like, what the heck? This guy's like a top 10 quarterback. He looks like a rookie. It's because he already knows where he's going, and he didn't anticipate what that linebacker did. And because, okay, boom, the safety moved there. Boom, I'm going here. I'm going to Jonah right here. And what happened? The linebacker read it. A good defense read it and did something. And split, boom, boom.
That's the problem. And Odaris talked about it and pointed it out. And then Kurt Warner talked about it. And it's not just two unions. This is becoming the way. Pure progression read system is like the minority.
The league is like that.
Yeah. So that if you remember when Tua threw the pick against the Texans in the robber, because what happens is McDaniel's system.
They're tremendous at that.
Oh yeah. But McDaniel's system is like, if I look over here and I see something, I'm expecting the same thing.
So he got excited. Looks like McDaniel, the Dolphins organization, got a hold of Curtis. Curtis is getting back, Jason, let's jump to you about McDaniel. What do you think he needs to do to fundamentally kind of change as we got a shock Curtis? It looks like he just looked like Tua walked through the door. Was it
technical difficulties?
Technical difficulties. All right, let's move over to you while we figure out Curtis. What do you think McDaniel needs to work on here? Like, is it the style? Is it play calling? What does he have to do? Because a lot of the onus is on him as well.
What I would really love to see is using his smarts to mix in what we were talking about, to mix in the physical with what this team is built on, and that's speed. And also from kind of a personnel standpoint, I would love to see Jalen Wright kind of take a little bit of that like Raheem Mostert role. He's obviously not going to score 18 touchdowns. I get that. But what I mean by that, and I'm going to make a little bit of a call here, and I'm going to use math to back it up.
Let's go.
Devon Achane, last year, everyone knows, led the league from a running back in receptions and receiving yards for the position. But it could have been so much more. Because if Tua was healthy, this is a guy that was averaging in Tua starts 6 receptions per game. So if you put that times 17, that's 102. I think he's going to get 102 receptions, but you need your Jalen Wrights and your Ollie Gordon, maybe Alexander Madison, to get more of that inside physical component. Now, if that could happen, now you're already absorbing the loss a little bit of tight end Jonnu Smith. Now, I know Achane's a running back, Jonnu Smith's a tight end, but I think there was 111 targets that went to Smith last year. They bring in Darren Waller. Let's call it 60 he'll get. You got NWI will get some of those targets. Malik Washington will get some of those targets. So how McDaniel utilizes Achane as the number 1 running back, scratch that. Just use him as the weapon, right? And if you can get Jalen Wright inside, Ollie Gordon, goal line, short yardage, now you're cooking, So if Tua is healthy, he has to continue that progression of 7-8 targets a game to Achane. And I know we're going to discuss carrying count for Achane.
Yeah.
I don't want him carrying the ball more than 14, 15 times. I want him touching the ball 22, 20. You know what I mean? So if you just have to get to 13, 14 carries, put the rest of that in the reception game with him even lining up in the slot. But that can't work unless you have 2 other very viable running backs, along with a more inside presence from a blocking standpoint from the offensive line. So a lot of ifs, but the potential is there for McDaniel creativity beyond what was already figured out with his creativity. Let's see how smart he is by changing it up, but being able to then bring it back with a little bit of diversity in his calling and his play mechanics.
Yeah, shout out to everyone watching. If you don't see Curtis was on with us about a minute ago. I don't know what happened. The Dolphins, he looked like he was wide open. Somebody walked through his door. It could have been Tua. Could have been Marino. Could have been Coach McDaniel. I don't know. The Dolphins sent somebody over there. He had some technical difficulties. We'll get him back on here. He should be getting on him back here pretty soon. I just want to shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are killing it. Guys, if you're watching anywhere else, please come on over to YouTube. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, come watch YouTube. It helps the algorithm. If you like the product we got going for you guys, and we got a ton of stuff planned during the season. A little refresh, a little rebrand. We're gonna give it a little touch up the show. So we got a lot of things planned for you guys, and we got Curtis back. So guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Curtis is back. Let's bring him back in on the fold. Curtis, what happened, man? What did Tua have to say? What? who
went out again?
You're still there. You're still there. You're frozen again. You're a little bit frozen.
I live in a darn mountain. I'm 2,200 feet up above
it's all right,
sea
you're
level.
back. We'll figure it out.
Sorry,
we adjust here on the Fins Faithful, unlike some other teams. We adjust. We don't just throw it.
You got it with me, dude. I'm like,
I want to get to a question. What's up, Kenny? How you doing, buddy? Kenny, we got to get you back on sometime. Vice City, go check him out on Twitter. Either one of you guys answer this. Would you guys like to see less motion? I know me, yes. Curtis, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the motion thing is, they busted down on cheat motion, and you could see us drop off. It doesn't have the same effect. We need time before the play to get to the line of scrimmage early, have some audibles. No one's buying it anymore. I mean, maybe could run inside, change the leverage, especially at the linebacker spot. But the motion, it's, again, the smoke and mirrors, and no one's buying it anymore, So it will work if we could just blow people out in the interior. You had linebackers not sitting at 6 and 7 yards, 5 yards. You just had them at 4 yards and 3.5, and they were taking a step up occasionally. But if you don't have legitimate play action, you have legitimate fear in the A and B gap. And I had to fight, honestly, for years for that, which was kind of crazy. Then it doesn't matter because you can move all you want. They're just going to play high shell. They're read and react linebackers, the outside leverage of the edge players. So it don't really matter. It's not the same effect. I mean, once in a while you get something, but yeah, definitely. Between the verbiage and the motion, that's why we get all these penalties. Nervous before the play goes off.
Too much going on pre-snap. Too much going on.
100%.
You gotta be kidding me.
You don't have to throw it out. You don't have to throw the motion out, but I would like a quality above
every single time.
You know what I'm saying? So like when you're not utilizing it and things are going well, and then you bring it back and surprise folks once, twice, every now and then, fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. But the reliant and the changing offense and to think this is going to be the new en vogue style. Look, we're Dolphin fans. We all thought that the Wildcat was here to stay, right? No.
I did.
I mean, listen,
I hope.
It's all well and good.
Come on, Curtis. You can't be serious.
This is the reason why God invented film and that clicker to rewind and fast forward and to pause things.
It's what the Dolphins are facing. That's
correct.
why it worked the first 10. The league got film on them. And he still hasn't adjusted.
Absolutely correct. It's almost like when we'll go to another sport. When a pitcher goes through like a team goes through batters over and over, you know what you're seeing. Hitters seeing the pitcher again, you know what you're seeing.
I like that. When you get a rookie pitcher and all of a sudden he has success, like versus the Yankees, it's because they've never seen it. But then what happens is second time through the lineup, there's 4 or 5 runs.
Yep.
The first 2 or 3 innings is good, but
schemes, analytics.
Yes. So let me ask you this: if I would ask each one of you guys, and I'll answer myself, whoever will go first on this, if I say to be successful, what should the Miami Dolphins' identity on offense be? And your answer is what?
Curtis,
pass balance.
I hate to do this, but I agree. I think
our run game. It's the only way it's going to work. It'll marry on its own. you would establish a power running game, more of an inside zone or gap running game scheme. That means the personnel you brought in work. That means the Savanea pick was a home run. All the Gordon, but even A-Chain's not bad. I mean, like, he's not bad for a small guy inside the A gap. You know, he's pretty decent. I don't want him seeing that much there. And then Jalen Wright, we said, is better, and we don't know what we're going to get out of Matheson. But power, where you can run off play action and take advantage of what no other team has, that kind of luxury of Lamborghinis on the outside. You know what I mean? Because their plays were there last year. For some reason, they almost went too much the other way and, like, threw all curveballs. Like, you got to still throw your fastball that got you there. You still throw 98. Just don't throw – like, they were throwing all curveballs. Like, all right, you're playing that shell. You're giving us the middle of the field. Jonu here. Two was like, all right, Jonu. All right, Jonu. All right, A-Chain. Like, you still got to throw 97, 98. You miss the bats when you throw in good sliders and change up consistently. You still got to miss bats. So a power running game off a lot more play action, simplify things. Use your personnel. You have great personnel on offense. And I know it sounds simple, but I think it's way too complicated what they're doing. The penalties, the coaching staff, I don't think is prepared for it. I don't think McDaniel's prepared for his own play. He's a good play designer, but he doesn't have a really good feel for play calling. I think it's too much for him, especially in the big moments. Simplify it. You have the talent, the personnel.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Well, right. I think you would. For me, it's about leverage. You know, you've got to be able to affect the leverage of the defense. We affect it deep, but we can't affect it interior. And so it's you have to have 4-point tension. You have to have tension at the A gap, at the center, to the boundaries, and to the deep. And that stretches the defense and makes them guess. And most games are won by 3-4 plays where the wrong leverage.
They're too predictable.
Oh, totally.
And if you establish a power running game, it allows you to become unpredictable because you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They couldn't do anything they want. Again, teams their linebackers. How many yards deep were the linebackers last year? Two of them. Like 7-8 yards deep.
The average was like 4.5 and 5. And then sometimes it got to 5, 6, or 6 and 7.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Crazy.
That's a lot. That's
insane. With no bite. It's all read and react or drop.
Yeah,
which is
all
insane.
read and react, drop, and you still can't run the ball. No, predictable or not predictable, that I guarantee you, Tua healthy the whole year, still going to be a recipe for a 10 or 12, 15th ranked offense in the league. Again, that 23 season, there's tape on it. They have not yet adjusted.
Nope.
Like it's simple as that. You know what I mean? And this is the year that if McDaniel wants to keep his job, they've shown us with their draft. You know, the running back they drafted, the kind of type of offensive lineman they've shown that they want to do that. And I do believe that that's going to be their main focus because I think McDaniel's finally got this, I got to prove that Tua is the best thing out of his head. I think that was there. I know everybody, I'm telling you, like, I think that was his thing and he overemphasized it. And people call me crazy about it. That's just what I believe. Like, he had a point to make. He made it. And it wasn't for the better of the team. And so, yeah, I think that's my philosophy. I think that's what I think they need to do on their identity. They got to become – I think they got to have – out of every team in the league, they have to have the most where you look back and say, wow, this team changed their style offensively. I think they got to be far and away the most out of any team in the league or we're going to be doing the same thing ever again.
I just want to add something real quick. You know, going back to 2023, the thing about 2023 was after Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and when he played H-N because he missed some games, there was no other target. I mean, all due respect to your Braxton Berrioses, to your Durham Smythes, to your River, there was no other option. Last year, you had Jonnu Smith, you had a healthy H-N, but this year you still have guys that you can consider third, fourth, fifth options, Malik, NWI, Darren Waller. So there's no excuse to revert back to the deficiencies in options from 2023. So if they can mix that run component, I mean, look, imagine if it's like, again, you go back to that 3rd and short, and then everyone's expecting to run because it's been working.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's that play action. You hit one of those targets over the middle, turns it into a 55-yard touchdown. You know, so it's until we see those things, we're going to see the same old things, you know, and that's what it is.
It's feel too. It's a feel. We keep talking about pitchers. It's a feel. When is it good? When is it good to throw a slider? When is it good to throw a curveball? Then when you go back to, it's all feel, play calling. He doesn't have a good feel of it. He's a good play designer for one style, and it's yet to be seen if he can adjust. But he needs to get a better feel of how to play calls and get a feel for what the defense is doing. Now, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't by now. And that kind of the offensive genius label, I think he's a really good play designer. I think there's still a lot to be desired so far in a play caller.
Curtis, it's like Curtis back.
Yeah, go ahead.
McDaniel, it's like he's really prepared for the test, but then during the test, he has like test anxiety. You know, it's almost like
it's too again, it's too because they got so much stuff going on before this ball's even snapped.
Simplification.
Yeah.
Old school football component.
Shout out to all the people watching, guys. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment in the chat. Guys, please leave the video comments after the show. I read them all the time. I reply to everyone. Thank you guys so much. Again, we got a lot of big things planned here coming up on the Fins Faithful podcast with Jason, myself. We got some new ideas coming, some new type shows. So stick with us, and guys. So make sure you subscribe and also put on the notifications so you know we get live. Enough of me doing business here. Let's get back. Let me ask you as we wait for Curtis again. He's having some technical difficulties. If I ask you, you make a good point. Somebody to be less predictable, they have to have other guys step up as playmakers, right? Now we lost Jonnu Smith. I think a lot of his stuff was fed off how the defenses were playing us and leaving the middle of the field open. I will say that. Who do you think, if you had to pick a guy or two, can fill that role as the next guy?
I've said this before, other positions and situations, they're going to do it in the aggregate. It's going to be Waller, NWI, Malik Washington, and Achane. Now, if you spread across those targets strategically in and around certain areas where these guys could do their damage, my point, in the red zone, NWI. From 20 to 20, Waller and Achane, you know, and throw Malik Washington in there too, because I think Washington needs to get at least 4 or 5 targets a game, because that's what he was getting at the back quarter of last season. He was getting 1 target a game, you know, early on. So I don't need to find Jonnu Smith production from one person. I need to aggregate it across the rest of the offense, because I can't see 100 receptions, 90 receptions, and then 23 for the third person, the third wide receiver. You know Achane's going to get his, but you have to spread that wealth. And to your point, George, if Tyreek Hill is going for 2,000, folks,
this season's not going the way you wanted to go.
Let me tell you the smart bet on that. It's never happened before.
It's never happened before, but
it's never happened before. So why would you think it's going to happen?
You know? I don't want that mentality.
Correct.
The problem with this offense is it's too of the Tyreek dependent.
Correct.
Right? And if you're trying to feed him, it's crazy as it sounds because he's such a special player. Like, it doesn't sound logical, but concept-wise and philosophy-wise, you shooting for 2,000 yards, it will never happen. But if it's like 1,750, great, and Jalen Waddle and Malik Washington having down years, again, you become the Tua to Tyreek predictable offense, and we're back to square one. So it sounds crazy to say it out loud, Jason, but it's true. Curtis, you're back with us, right? You good?
Yes, man.
All right, so I'll ask you the question.
George is having an issue. Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Shout out to me. Again, I don't know if sometimes it looks like you're falling asleep because your eyes freezing.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
All right, so if you can hear me, it doesn't matter if I can see you or frozen or not. I asked Jason this. This offense to be less predictable will have to depend on another weapon emerging outside of Hill, Waddle, and I guess Achane. It was Jonnu last year, and again, basically a lot of it was because the defenses, the way they were playing him, it opened up for him. What guy would you say can emerge here as kind of another weapon to make this offense less predictable?
Yeah, great show, Steve, except he over on the right-hand side. But other than that, pretty good.
Yeah, shout out to Steve Malloy. How you doing? We got to get Steve back on.
Yeah,
I haven't had Steve on in a while. Steve's great. Go check his stuff out. Yes.
Yeah, well, look, you just got to spread the ball around. But, you've got Malik. The guy looked really good. Physical, making some really nice catches. You got A-Chan who could do some amazing stuff. You got enough. You need. The thing is, until the leverage changes, it's not going to matter. Because
Explain, do you mean more about leverage? Explain that to people who may not understand what that means.
So look, if I'm a slow corner, I play you 5 yards off. And even if I'm a slow corner, I play you 5 yards off. Unless you're super, super fast, that leverage is going to make it more and more difficult for you to get past me. And, you could do all kinds of things. You give leverage, inside leverage, because you want the route to go outside. So he's got to go outside. Leverage is everywhere. It's inches everywhere. Everyone's trying to, because what leverage is and so you create a scenario. You're taking so much advantage of a certain situation that it's very difficult to overcome. And so for us, we had 4 plays. We had the outside run, we had the screen, we had the pocket post, and the fly. So if you run cover 2 high, that is high leverage to take away the deeps. And then you get your linebackers at 5 and 6 that are not stepping forward, biting for the run. They're reading or dropping. And then you got the edges to the outside.
What should you be able to do? As an offense, should you be able to
run inside?
Yes. And that's what's
run inside.
That's why when I say power running game, it's the only way that it's going to change that leverage. And it won't even change in the beginning, Curtis. It's going to take succession over. It's going to take multiple games for teams to, because some teams are like, let the Dolphins, let them do it. They'll make a mistake somewhere. They'll make a mistake somewhere. Like that's
or they'll get bogged down in the red zone because you can't.
Take a while. Yeah. Yes.
Then your speed's limited because you only got, you get the red zone and then you got the end zone and the sideline. So all that speed is not as powerful. So what they said is, you'll screw up. You'll get off downs. If we don't stop you, matriculate to the red zone. You can't run inside. Your speed, we only got to cover 20, 25 yards, 30 yards. We'll take the 3.
Yep.
So the leverage was this defense it affects the leverage in the sense of deep, but it can't do it's 3-point tension, exterior and deep.
Consequence to every style of leverage or every leverage you play. There's always a consequence. There will always be a consequence, and it's your offensive coordinator, your team's ability to take advantage of that consequence. Dolphins can't do it.
There's actually great studies showing it's not even the yards you're getting on the runs. I mean, obviously you don't want zeros and ones, but it's the number of runs.
Look, yes, I brought up that stat. They were number 1 in 2023 in yards per carry. Didn't translate to winning. Nothing. Nothing.
Nope.
Style over substance.
Yeah.
They didn't run enough. They weren't physical enough. You have no shot in December and January with that. None.
Because once you run inside, then because there's only 11 guys.
Yes.
And they've got to cover 1,500 square feet. And so if you get a safety taking a 5-yard step up, you get a linebacker run blitzing. We don't even get run blitzed.
None.
And
linebackers don't move forward. They don't move forward. Watch the film. They don't move forward. How in the heck? It's crazy. Anyways, go ahead. I think we kind of are coming to the conclusion of how to change leverage, how to be more successful, and all that's going to relate to more winning. And
of course.
And you can win 5 or 6 games in January and in September, October. But if you didn't change anything, you're going to run into a wall.
But that's the most exciting thing. For me, the most exciting thing is watching the DC's game plan and the book.
The good ones. The good ones do it. And that's why we struggle against the good teams. The New York Giants, who won 2 games and you're playing against them, they don't give a crap. The really good teams play chess with you. And it's all, I mean, guys, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Curtis's channel. Where else are you getting this kind of stuff? I'm telling you, stick with us during the season. We're going to stick with Curtis, stick with us.
So good.
No,
that's mixing it up. Analyzing.
That's mixing it up. We're mixing it up. We got draft. We got analytics. We got X's and O's. This is your place. Stick with us this season. And stick with Curtis because we're going to have Curtis potentially we're working out some details here as a
I'm definitely
permanent member here, a part of our family, and we'll do stuff for him with him too. So stick with us, guys. I know it's self-promoting, but I've been told I don't do it enough. So as far as I toot our own horn kind of stuff, but believe me, we hear and see the comments. I'm telling you, this is the place for Dolphins football. There's a lot of great other shows too. I'm not saying that, but I think we got the total package here. And anyways, I know nobody's going to work harder than us. That I know. And we got Sarney. And you got Sarney. Look, we got Sarney.
You were going really well until you threw that last one, and then everyone's going to drop down from that. So.
I don't even know where we're at. Not enough. And we got Sammy. Sammy's part of thank you, guys. We appreciate the comments, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Support us here and the likes. All right. The last couple questions. We'll wrap it up here pretty soon. I want to ask a few wild, kind of a rapid fire, a few of them. Yes or no, should A-Chain carry the ball 15 times a game? Carrying, not touches, carrying, yes or no, Jason?
You know my answer. I alluded to it earlier on. I want 20-plus touches. And the math tells me if you get 7 or 8 targets a game, you're at 13 rushes. And the rest of those 9 to 15 attempts can be given to your other backs. And hopefully when you're up more, Wright in the fourth quarter, Gordon in the fourth quarter. So the answer, let him average 21 touches a game, and I'll be thrilled.
Specifically, though, okay, so 50. You're about
14 and 7. 14 and 7. I don't want to go over, but I want to
go slightly under. Slightly under, but I want him just at that. If he's running 22 times through the middle a lot, I want him playing 17 games, and he's not the biggest back. I'm not saying he can't run up the gaps. I'm not saying he's not capable of it, but let's be real here. He is not that body type of a runner where 204. You can't Ricky Williams him. You cannot do that.
No.
I think he was crazy. I think he's overutilized. Is that crazy for me to say? I think he's overutilized. I think he's better as a change of pace kind of weapon, mismatch guy. I think he's a little bit overused. But anyways, I think they'll be good when they get a more true physical power back that can also, maybe Ollie Gordon's that guy. I don't know. But all right. So you're saying no 15 carries, 21 touches, a little bit under 15. Mr. Curtis.
Yeah, it is like a little caveat to it because the problem is all the two backs, they're kind of pigeonholed into what they can do. When A-Chain's on the field, you have to guard everything. He can run outside. He can run inside the holes there. You've seen some of that. He can catch the football, and he can bend it back on the outside zone. But Wright is he can almost do that stuff, but not fully. Ollie Gordon, when he comes in, you know what he's going to do. So it's a little difficult. I do think that you've got to, if you come out in 11 personnel, you've got to have A-Chain in there, 60 to 70 of those snaps. A little bit of Wright because, he could pop it inside on that draw or, you run inside. And I like that. I'd say 30, but to your point, he is small and he gets dinged a lot. So I would say I'm more in Jason's camp, 21 touches, 12 to 13 carries, and then the rest catches. You want him to get the ball in space. You want him not to take the beatings inside. But if we're running a lot of 11 personnel and that's our strongest package, I do like Ollie because he can pass block really well. He's our best pass blocker. So I would go along with that too. You don't want to overutilize him, and you don't want to bang him inside too much.
I think the way he would utilize his rookie year was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And what went with that? A Raheem Mostert RB1.
So it's like Jalen Wright's development or Ollie Gordon's development are going to play a big role because maybe there's no Mostert, there's no Wilson, there's no veteran there you can rely on. So he might be forced into 18, 20 carries because there's nobody else to run the rock. I'm not a big Alexander Madison fan. That's might.
I think Wright though he has some real potential. You know, he can't pass block though. He struggles with the pass block.
Yes.
That's a big problem.
And I was disappointed with his pass catching too. You know, I think if you cut less outside zone, you're going to see a better Jalen Wright. And most people, if I ask the most random fan, hey, we'd run less outside zone. Is that good or bad for Jalen Wright? They'll probably say bad. No, it's the opposite. I'm telling you, go look at his best game. Go look at it. You know.
Oh, it's inside zone. Yeah. He's a one-cut runner. He get upfield, one cut.
He couldn't understand. He wouldn't stretch. Like on the outside zone, he wouldn't string it along. He needed to string it along, he wouldn't. Or if he needed to make that one cut, he would. He was so indecisive. And I think there's more benefits for this team running more inside zone than there is actually keeping the outside zone. I think HA can do it too. So, you know, more of a. It shocks me that actually Mike McDaniel's philosophy when he got here shocks me. That's why I think the Tua stuff got in his head because look what he came from. He was the run game coordinator in San Fran.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy. All right, I kind of agree with you both, you guys. Touches, mismatches, rookie year A-chain usage-wise. 20 touches, split it how you want. Give me 13, 14 carries, 12 to 14 carries. Get the ball in his hands any way you can. All right, another question here.
Cap, that was a rush play from A-chain. I think it was like a reverse or a flip back play. It was some sort of like a reverse toss. It was definitely a rush.
A-chain
concussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a reception.
So I think we answered this, and we'll kind of leave it off on this. Good or bad, Tyreek Hill chasing 2,000 yards? I think I know the answer. We kind of brought it up quickly. Bad. I think bad. No, I think we're across the board bad. All right, well, boys, rookies report tomorrow. I don't know if I'm ready. Are you ready? Veterans.
Nothing's really going down.
Yeah, nothing's going down. 22nd, the veterans report. 26 is the first time the public can lay eyes on them. There's going to be a lot of good stuff going on behind the scenes. We'll have you covered. We got some new show ideas, some new stuff, fun, exciting stuff coming for you guys. Before we go, Curtis, thank you. Tell everybody where they can find your great show, Ace Bread, and all the good stuff you got. Yes, Pat, give yourself some damn credit, Curtis.
When my internet is not going out, you can find me
people love you
at Ace Per Head on the YouTube thing. I'm Curtis. I'm on their channel. The guys behind me. I do Finn's News One, the Twitter thing. I try to work it. I write for Fins.com. I write articles on the MJ there. I'm trying to do some more stuff. But basically, I'm YouTube, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I do recordings so I don't freeze up. But I do live as well.
No. I got to start all that good stuff. All right, Jason, we'll be back next Monday with our training camp preview. We have a special guest. We might be dipping in the world of media. I think it's a perfect time. We're going to have a media guy on. We're going to do our big training camp preview extravaganza. We'll have that next Monday for you guys, probably around 7:30. Keep your eyes out peeled. We might have some new updates with the channel we'll post it on the social media. I appreciate everybody who was watching the show. Make sure you leave comments at the end, like, subscribe to my channel, our channel, and Curtis's channel. All right, guys.
Yeah, why not?
For Curtis, Jason, and myself, we're out. Fins.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night, fellas.
Sorry, guys. I couldn't help it.